Hello, everyone, and welcome to Battle of the Beast All Generation episode number 60. I'm Adam, and today we got the 60th battle of round 1 to get done today. And why are there so many battles? Round 1 has 77 battles in it. And we're almost at the home stretch. 10 more battles, and then we're at the home stretch. There is one beast who has skipped round 1, but I'm not going to reveal who that beast is until until the final battle around 1, in which, for those who have been paying attention and watching this entire series, would know who it is already, unless they generally forgot this beast is actually existent, because I forgot they existed too. So with that, let's introduce the competitors. So, representing Series 24, Blood of the Beast, the first beast from that series to be competing in this tournament. He died in round 1 in the New Generation tournament and was the only beast from that series to have died in round 1. It is Electro, the Stormbird. And representing the infinite group of specials, special number 13, Okawa, the River Beast. So with these two beasts, it may seem like an obvious who's going to win, but we're going to give Okawa a little help and say this battle's going to be in a swampy arena. So yeah, a swamp-like arena. Let's do it. So with that, Lucas, Impus, let's get to the stats. I was actually about to say who killed Electro in round 1 of the New Generation tournament, but I think it's Stritor actually. Okay, yeah. Okay, so with that, we'll get to the weaknesses. So we're going to start with Electro. His only weakness is a potion of Krokol's blood. If a part of a potion made of Krokol's blood touches Electro, she will begin to melt, defeating her. Does Okawa have that? And Okawa has minions, which are the infected, so some of the audience members may need to be careful. And weaknesses are the antidote. There's an antidote to the Riverturn poison, which if Okawa is doused in it, he will revert back to who he was. No. Empty dish weakening. If the dish on Okawa's head starts to run out of water, he becomes weaker. Okay. And infection reversion. Anyone who had been infected by Okawa will revert to normal upon the beast's defeat. Okay, so with that, helpful hints of what the weaknesses are. Let's get into the fight. So if both beasts exit from their chambers, Okawa dives into the swamp, just diving, swimming everywhere, and jumps out onto the spectator stand and just slashes at some of the audience members, like 10 maybe, or 20, sorry. He then picks up each audience member he slashes and chucks them into the swampy arena. And as those spectators re-emerge, they've already become the infected, just growling around. Okawa then dives back into the water and roars with his new empire of 20 soldiers. And right before Electro emerges, Okawa notices a storm cloud approaching, rolling over the hills. And thunder and lightning starts striking. Oh, the sounds of thunder are being heard. Lightning bolts are striking the chambers, are striking each chamber door. And as a lightning bolt strikes Electro's chamber, Electro appears, seemingly out of nowhere. Electro squawks into the arena as Okawa and her minions are just staring right at Electro. Electro swoops down, lands on the ground, staring right down at Okawa, and Okawa sends his minions on to attack Electro. Electro, seemingly kind of amused by this, simply raises herself off the ground and just flaps her wings enough to create a small hurricane of sorts, just pushing all the infected back. And Electro summons up a giant bolt of lightning and brings it down right on top of the pile of the infected, causing them to scatter everywhere and causing them to go unconscious almost immediately. Okawa stares in disbelief as his minions have already been defeated. Seemingly with little effort, Okawa charges towards Electro, but Electro uses his wing, being made of metal, and just slices at a tree that comes crashing down on top of Okawa, smacking him in the head. Electro then summons another bolt of lightning and brings it right down on top of Okawa, who gets zapped continuously. And the infected members, the unconscious infected members who are in the water, which Okawa is in, are being also zapped by this. So I feel bad for those spectators. And by the time the lightning has stopped zapping Okawa, Okawa's dazed and confused and is greeted by Electro swooping right towards him, just clotheslining him, knocking him down, and scratching at his torso and head with her talons, just going all out, using her wings to just slice at Okawa's arms, not giving them the time of day. Electro decides to wrap himself around Okawa, leaving Okawa unable to move or attack. And Electro decides to call on a bolt of lightning, which zaps both of them. Electro, being made out of metal, doesn't feel the pain, but instead increases it onto Okawa, causing Okawa to just start fizzing and shocking out. Electro releases herself off of Okawa and sees Okawa seemingly paralyzed from the amount of electronic shock he got. Electro then decides to just lift her talon and just slash at the underside of Okawa's neck, causing blood to start gushing out of the 3 gashes that Electro made. And Okawa, struggling at first, is trying to block the blood from coming out. Electro is having none of it though, and just zaps Okawa again, causing him to release his grip on his neck. And Electro then plants her talons on either of Okawa's arms, just pinning him down as Okawa is just having his blood gush out of him. It's eventually Okawa's fight back has just slowed down, and Okawa's arms, who are trying to scratch at Electro, but couldn't do anything now because made of metal, you can't scratch, you can't infect metal. Just his arms just collapse and go into the water, making a splash as Okawa lays lifeless, floating on the water. Electro releases her grip off of Okawa and with one last bolt of lightning zapping Electro, she dives back down into her chamber, ready for her next fight. So with that, Electro has won, Okawa has lost. If you think Okawa should have won, please leave comments below why you think that. However, my word is final and Electro is moving on. Now, I'm fully aware that water does not necessarily work like how I said when it comes to conducting electricity. But in some cases, I can't remember exactly what it is. If water is of a certain blend with the salt, I think, it can become dangerous if in contact with electricity to anyone who's even remotely touching it. So the infected also died. Uh, but if we can quote Lord Farquaad here, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. So Electro, I think, was obviously going to win this because I'm a Pokemon guy. I'm using Pokemon types, and with that, Electro was easy going to win. No competition there. But with that, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, if you'd like to leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe. If you guys are just as excited for the next batch of battles, feel free to leave in the comments below that you are, and I'll see you next time.